Our football analyst and ball knower, Sam Acho, is with us. One of us here on the show yesterday picked Oregon. Wasn't Acho. As you watched that dismantling that Indiana put on the Ducks last night, Sam, what did that remind you of?
It felt like Indiana was playing on that video game setting Heisman mode. You know how there's like easy, medium, hard, and then Heisman? They were stuck in Heisman mode. From the first play of the game, the opening kickoff, it was game pick 6 by number 5, D'Angelo Pons. It's like, dude, Oregon hadn't even touched the ball yet, and they're already down 7-0. And oh, by the way, let's go to the fourth quarter. Special teams. Daniel Ndukwe with the block punt. They're up by 27. If you make one game, right, out and up, end zone, there was nothing that Oregon could do to stop Indiana in all 3 phases. They were stuck in Heisman mode.
Yo, we got the hit stick graphic going on this morning. Okay, dude, we loosened up the budget. Sacho, the Hoosiers now open as a 7.5-point favorite against Miami in Miami for the Hurricanes to pull off another upset in this CFP. What needs to happen in your eyes?
Miami must win when it comes to one-on-one contested catches and Miami defensive backs versus Indiana wide receivers. What showed up on tape all season long and even all game was Fernando Mendoza throwing to his receivers in contested catches and the receivers winning in one-on-one, whether it's Charlie Becker here, Elijah Surratt like you saw earlier, Omar Cooper Jr. That's going to be the answer. Now, Miami has done it before. We've seen pick sixes on the defensive side of the ball, but we also have seen dropped interceptions, missed opportunities by Miami defensively. They cannot miss any opportunities. They have to capitalize on any mistake that Fernando Mendoza might make.
Might be a little bit too early, but Miami, if that defense shows up compared to this Hoosiers offense that continually has showed up, who do you like more, Sacho?
I like Indiana's offense because it's not just this last game. It's been all season. They've won when it's mattered the most, whether it's a Penn State, end of the back of the end zone, a one-toe tap, or even in Oregon in their regular season when Mendoza threw a pick, he backed it up with a critical play. And so for me, it's the one-on-one contested catches for Indiana. I think that has the edge over Miami defensively.
Hey, man, he was right in this Peach Bowl prediction was Sam Acho, the National Championship Game, January 19th on ESPN. Sacho, thank you, sir. Indiana's roster, just 8 4- and 5-star players. 8 of them. They've already taken down Alabama, who has 57. They've beaten Oregon, who has 55. And up next, Miami, 45. To South Florida and take on a team in Miami that didn't offer him out of high school, which was just about 5 miles away from Miami's campus. We're about 5 feet away from Trevor Maddich, our college football analyst here on SportsCenter. Trevor, when you watch Fernando Mendoza on tape, you think what?
Randy, I think he looks at college defenses with the same style that Tom Brady looked at NFL defenses. Most college quarterbacks will look at one guy on an RPO or 2 guys. Is it 1 or 2 deep safeties? But Mendoza's able to read the coverage, the entire coverage, and know where the soft spot is. And then, much like Brady, he's got the accuracy to get the ball not only to the right spot, but to like this are no big deal for him because of his ability to know where to throw it, but also to get it to the right spot at the right time. And so Fernando Mendoza, I think, is likely to be the first pick in the draft because guess who has the first pick? The Las Vegas Raiders.
And who's making the decisions for the Las Vegas Raiders?
Co-owner Tom Brady. And so they have, I think, a lot in common in their approach to reading defense.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and Mendoza has what Brady didn't from his high school career, or rather, collegiate career. That'd be a Heisman Trophy. Let's look ahead to the National Championship Game. We have 9 days to wait now. What do the Hurricanes need to do specifically to slow down Mendoza and this Hoosiers offense?
Well, the Hurricanes defense will need to stop everything. I mean, we think of the Mendoza aerial circus, right? And that pass rush is good enough to be able to gum up those words. The problem is that Indiana's a run-first team. Miami will have to earn the right to rush Mendoza. In the 2 playoff games, Mendoza threw the ball 36 times. They ran it 90 times combined. 36 passes, 90 rushes in 2 playoff games. And so Miami's great pass rush, it's mildly interesting until they stop the run first.
Protecting the football, it's funny, you can help out your own defense by protecting the football on offense, something obviously Oregon had trouble with last night. So it's going to be Indiana, it's going to be Miami, National Championship in South Florida, January 19th on ESPN. Trevor Maddich, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Randy.
All right.
home stadium. Canes got to the Natty thanks to 2 upset wins and then the biggest play of Carson Beck's life. With 24 seconds left against Ole Miss, Beck runs it in for the game-winning touchdown. Beck now looking to lead the Canes to their 6th national title and 1st since 2001. Fernando Mendoza looking to lead Indiana to its first title in program history and become the first quarterback to win the Heisman and the national championship in the same season since Joe Burrow in 2019. Mendoza and Miami head coach Mario Cristobal both attended the same high school, so plenty of connections here. Fernando Mendoza from Miami, playing Miami in Miami. This is going to be South Beach at its finest. HQ's finest back in studio. Former Ohio State running back Beanie Wells, former James Madison quarterback Ben DiNucci, and one of the keys to the national title game could perhaps be discipline. Indiana averaged 3 penalties per game this season, 3rd fewest in FBS. Miami averaged 7 penalties per game, 113th out of 136 schools in FBS. Canes had 0 penalties against Ohio State, pulled off the upset. Canes had 10 penalties against Ole Miss, still won the game. Beanie, which Miami team shows up against Indiana?
You know, you'd hope for Miami, understanding the magnitude of the moment. This is a national championship. You're at home. You're going to have to be the team that showed up versus Ohio State. You're going to have to play a clean football game. Look, they have the talent to be able to win a national championship. I've said that week after week, right? But merely playing a team like Indiana, you're going to have to be at your best at every single phase. That's special teams, that's offense, that's defense, that's running the ball, that's eliminating the mistakes that you've constantly had that have crept up and led to you losing some of the games that you have this year, and that's being a disciplined football team. I can't wait to watch the matchup in terms of the talent that's going to be on this football field. It's going to be exciting to see. I think this is going to be one of the best national championship games that we've seen in a long time.
I think we get the best version of Miami as well, and I think that's exactly what you want, national championship. You got presumably the 2 best teams at this point in the year, right? Indiana, Miami, going head-to-head. Miami's going to have a couple weeks to dissect this Indiana tape from the last couple weeks and say, hey, here's our game plan, here's what we got to do against these guys, and here's how we're going to attack it. So I would expect Miami to come out, play a clean game, because we saw it tonight. If you spot this Indiana team points, you're behind the 8 ball already.
Well, that's one of the narratives. That's one of that's what their characteristic is, how they play, is that Indiana plays mistake-free. Indiana does not make mistakes. They play disciplined because they're an extension of their head coach. All right, this game could also come down to what goes down in the trenches. Ben, what's your matchup that you're going to be watching for?
I think it's strength on strength. I think, first off, when you look at this Indiana team, you can say all you want about how good their defense is, how good their coaching is. At the end of the day, if you can't stop this offense and get them off the field, you have absolutely no chance. So the matchup I'm looking at in this game, the front 7 of Miami versus the offense of Indiana. All Indiana has done this year is score 50 points 7 times in games. If you can't generate pressure on Fernando Mendoza, speed up his process, and get this Indiana team into 3rd and long, I think it's just going to be a long game for this Miami defense. Bain and Mesidor, they've got to show up. 19 sacks total between the 2 of them. And the other night against Ole Miss, they struggled to put pressure on Chambliss, and I just think if you're looking for a recipe for success, they need to find a way to speed up Fernando's process.
And I'm on the flip side of that. You know, I'm looking at the front 7 for Indiana versus this run game that Miami possesses. The last couple of weeks, Miami, 175 yards as a team rushing, 153, 191. They've been dominant as a football team, but it's been doing part of them being able to run the football consistently with Mark Fletcher Jr. I mean, they've been so dominant, but what are they going to do? What is Elijah Hardy going to be able to do? Aiden Fisher, are they going to be able to rise to the occasion and slow this run game down? Because I can tell you what, if Miami can't run the football, then they don't win this game. That is going to be indeed their strength and the catalyst to get them over the hump. It's going to be Mark Fletcher Jr., his legs, and one of those other running backs, but that ground game is going to be so critical for him.
And you're right, it's strength on strength because Miami leads FBS in sack differential this season, plus 28. Indiana leads FBS in turnover differential this season, plus 21. So certainly those 2 will play a factor in the national championship game. Hard Rock Stadium holds more than 65,000 fans. It's cost a lot of money to get in this game, Beanie. We looked up the tickets. How many will be Miami fans?
That's a good question. That is a good question because all season long, not just this year, but last year, we look at the Miami games, and they'd be home games, and they'd be half full. So it'd be interesting to see how many of those fans are shelling out big-time dollars to see their team in the national championship for the first time in, 25 years. Now, I'd expect it to be 50-50, But I don't know, man. Would the Miami fans come out in abundance?
You saw how many IU fans were in Atlanta tonight. Might be a lot of red again.
I mean, look, you gotta fill the house. You gotta pack the house if you're you gotta find ways to get, number one, you gotta get all your students in there. And I get the reason why, kids don't want to come over from campus to Miami Gardens to go to the state. I get it, but don't make an excuse.
I don't get it.
I'm talking about during the regular season.
I don't get it. You're a great football team, right?
I'm with you, but they don't have the same experience where they can just walk from their dorm room over to the football stadium.
Yeah, don't give me excuses. You go to Miami. You know how expensive Miami is?
Yeah, it's expensive.
Kids go to Miami.
Yeah, get to the football games, all right? get to the games. They were 7-1 at home this season. All right, Indiana is a 7.5-point favorite in the Natty. Beanie, who you got winning it all?
Look, this is going to be a great game. I like both teams, but Indiana is the best team in the country. They're the most disciplined and battle-tested team that we've seen. I like Indiana winning this game. I can't even sugarcoat it anyway.
I'm gonna be even less sugar. Yeah, Indiana, plain and simple. Boom, stamp it. They've been the best team from week 1 to right now. They're 15-0 for a reason. They've got the Heisman Trophy winner. They've got the Coach of the Year. They play complimentary football. Give me IU, but I think it's going to be a really physical, hard-fought game.
You got a score prediction?
The only thing I got, whatever team scores more points, I think is who's going to win. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there we go.
Right, that's usually how it works. Look, I'm going to lay the points here. I think it should be 9.5.
I'm not far out of reach. I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. We just watched Indiana versus.
No disrespect. Again, no disrespect to Miami, because I was campaigning for Miami to get into the playoff field. So, I'm not out here trying, to disparage the Miami Hurricanes. I think they're a great football program. But what we're watching out of Indiana, this is 2019 LSU.
Yes.
That's what we're watching right now.
Yes.
They're steamrolling people.
In the biggest moments. I mean, to be able to put a slack on somebody and score 55 versus Oregon, or 56 versus Oregon, then what did they beat Alabama, 38-3? Come on.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's not supposed to happen like this, people. What we're watching right now, we are watching something that is, not something, we are watching a Hollywood movie. At some point in time, this football season that Indiana Hoosiers are having, Hoosiers, they got the basketball movie. They will indeed have the football movie on Kirk Cincinnati and Fernando Mendoza. It's happening.
I'm going to say 35-10 Indiana national champs. Who's your daddy?
I'm going 34-17.
Okay.
Indiana. Who's your daddy?
I'm not even saying the score just because I don't want to be berated on Twitter like I have been for the last 3 weeks.
January 19th at Hard Rock Stadium. Fernando Mendoza, the Miami native, playing Miami in Miami. I mean, this is storybook stuff. This is incredible. I can't wait to see this game again coming your way in 10 days from Miami Gardens. And look, this is pretty interesting here, and this is pretty cool when you think about what Indiana has in front of them. Here's a look at the teams who had the longest preseason title odds that went on to win the national championship in the past 25 years. Entering the season, Indiana was listed at 100-1. Man, I wish we would have wagered on that. Which means if the Hoosiers win the Natty, they would have the longest preseason title odds by any eventual